All right, Mark here from the Adventure Channel. We have a fun one for you guys today. This one is going to be for mountain bike destinations out of state. So we're Michiganders. We don't have to talk completely about out of state, but majority of these are going to be out of state destinations. I will say I think I have got an all-star cast here. I'm going to go around and introduce all you guys here in a minute. Everybody here has some great experience, way more experience than I do, getting out of state and checking out cool places. So that's why I've got them here. You guys are gonna have to. I'm gonna ask questions. You guys can lead this thing. So let's jump in. So we've got Laura Holmes. She is an author, and we've got her book right here, Travel Light. And she just got me a copy. I'm gonna read this thing cover to cover because I love the concept. Tell us, I guess, a little bit about the concept of the book.
Sure. Merry Christmas.
Thank you.
Gift
Thank you.
there.
I need it signed before you leave.
I will. Yes. So the book actually spawned the travel blog, which is now how Josh and I, kind of use that as a way to come up with destinations where we want to go biking. But the book itself is 10 different destinations, some international, some local, some in the United States, and it's just active and outdoor stuff. Pretty much what you like to do.
Right.
You're promoting, right? Ski, paddle, bike, hike.
All the fun stuff.
So that's pretty much what this is, the book is all about, is just real things. And sometimes it goes well and sometimes it doesn't go well. And it's just travel adventures. And so, yeah, if you're looking for ideas, no matter if you're you just want something really chill or if you want something really adventurous, there's a little bit of everything in this book.
Yes.
The blog is more, I would say, adventure and mountain bike focused.
Sure.
But that's kind of a little bit about the book and the blog.
Okay. So as you can see, she comes with a lot of experience. She's been all over the United States. We were with them in Bentonville, almost kind of sporadically, spontaneously. Right. And that was super cool. And Josh, her husband, obviously traveled together. And you have a great background in some of the ninja classes, teaching, and health coach for cycling and different things like that. So tell us a little bit about that.
So met Laura about 8 years ago, and she kind of gave me the travel bug. I started following her.
Sure.
And then we started mountain biking more, and it just kind of coalesced into something much bigger than what I ever thought it would be. But the mountain bike aside, when we met, it wasn't really a big mountain bike at the time, so started biking more and getting more and more into the sport. And my background was soccer coaching, so I figured I'd try mountain bike coaching, and I seem to like it. It's fun. Awesome. I work with a lot of kids, so little ones at this point, adults on the weekends for the ninja stuff. But hopefully in the next new year, that'll change, be a lot more adult stuff compared to kid stuff.
So these two, if you're following them on Instagram or follow them on any social medias, it seems like every week you're somewhere. And
good. It's working.
I'm jealous.
It's working.
So I'm like, hey, you guys got to come over here and talk travel.
That's right.
So that's who these guys are. And then we've got Brian Zajac. Did I say that right?
Yeah.
Okay. I was nervous about saying that.
I think Wheel of Fortune with a little more Z and a little less S.
Okay. I love it. Brian and I met years back. He is a local legend, I will say. Him and Kellen, I would say local legends with the Canonsburg ski area comes to mind. I know you guys did a bunch out at Wallfield where you guys are kind of forming these jumps, forming the skills area. Kind of leading the pack, except for next generation coming up, and showing us around. And then Brian put on a clinic for me and a lot of my Remax team before we left town to teach us a lot of bike handling skills and a lot of bike things. And it sounds like you've done a decent amount of that. And I just heard a little bit, so I won't spoil some of it, but his travel resume is longer than most. I'm trying to think of a good analogy, but it's a long travel resume. How long have you been traveling and doing some destination stuff on bikes?
Started traveling for the Norba series, not to date myself, like 97. And just kind of followed the downhill and dual slalom scene for that for years. Wasn't great at it in the beginning. As time went on and I had jobs that made more money with, I could go to more places, and just the experience of going on trips has always been my favorite thing in life, basically. So over the years, I think I've got like 40 states
Wow.
and 3 countries now.
Wow.
That you've biked in.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Holy cow.
So
This is going to be a 4-hour podcast.
but
I would love to hear all of it, actually.
I mean, the reason that we even started doing the skills area the way we did it was not only just to have like a cool place to ride, but like to allow people in the greater Grand Rapids area a place that they could hone their skills so that when they go out of state, they don't have to walk down the coolest trail there. And not all their favorite trails are the climbing trails to get to the trail they walk down.
Yes.
So that was kind of the goal of like when we built it all progressive was to really bring people up through the level so they could enjoy their biking vacation, so they could get that same fulfillment out of a trip that I get, I guess.
Yep, absolutely. Like what you just described is us to a T. You know, we went out and did a couple big trips, took my hardtail, a little wake up call, like came home, bought a new bike. You know, we still had a blast, but you know, the next trip was that much better, you know, and then, wow, this is so cool. I'm intimidated. Dropper, 150 travel, you know, all these other things come into play. And so that's what I would say this video is about, preparing you guys. We have amazing trails in West Michigan. We have amazing trails in Michigan. Don't take those for granted. Don't overlook those. But we're talking about getting out of state. Out of state, blue trails are black diamonds to us in Michigan. You know, I would say. So this is a great group of people to kind of talk about that and to learn from. So go ahead.
I've been biking, you know, ever since I can remember, you know, started as a little kid, and once I got a car, I'd probably stop for like 2 or 3 years. You know, don't want to drive when you got a car anymore. But right out of high school, I got right back into biking again.
Kellen Johnson, I didn't say his name. So Kellen Johnson. Let me do my Kellen Johnson, also a local legend. These two travel a ton together the last 10 years. Have been van buddies, I'm picturing, lots of traveling, getting a lot of miles in on the bike and on the travel. So sorry, go ahead.
But yeah, ever since out of high school, I've been really back into biking. Remember riding state game area constantly on like a dirt jumper with gears. With a cone of stuff is what it was. You know, not the right bike at all for it, but I rode that all the time. And met Brian actually in the skills area, rehabbing a ankle that I broke on another bike trip. And I was testing my ankle, seeing it was good enough to start jumping again. You know, and that's how me and Brian met, and you know, became good friends, and we started working on skills area and traveling together quite a bit, and we've been on lots of trips together.
Very cool.
Everywhere.
I'm going to take notes too when he said 3 countries and 40 states.
Yes.
I've got some work to do.
I know.
I've got some work to do.
A lot of catching up.
You're going to have change this to traveled heavy.
Yeah. There you go. That's right.
So we got Mike. I got your. I don't have your last name. Sorry, Mike.
My name is Michael Foster.
Okay, Michael Foster.
Yeah, so I've known these guys like half my life. 8 years ago, I met them.
Half my life.
That is awesome.
Yeah,
I like that.
I met him at Canonsburg, just same way. We've all met each other.
Yep.
And I talked to Brian, and he rode my bike in the parking lot. He jumped up the stairs and stuff, and I thought it was really sweet. So I wanted to get into it. And I started like hanging out with him more, and we went to the skills area and rode together a lot. And then we started going on trips. My first trip was to the mega caverns with them, and it was a lot of fun. I learned how to jump and stuff. And then from there, I started doing more tricks and stuff. And I like doing that a lot more now. So.
Nice. These two told me, Kellen and Brian told me that Mike has surpassed them in abilities in a short amount of time. And this guy is bad to the bone, so that's awesome.
I remember being with Mike's dad, Keith, you know, watching him, just being nervous. Like, make sure he doesn't hurt himself, you know, making sure we're right there found and make sure it's okay. And we can't keep up with him anymore. Like, he's
Right.
like, he wants us to follow, make sure it's okay. Like, I can't. He's he's gone. He's putting us to shame now.
That's
It's called
awesome.
youth.
He's grown up a lot as a biker.
That is awesome. All right, so what we're gonna do now is we're gonna jump into what this video is about, is destinations. We're gonna try to pick the brains of everyone and find out what like their favorites are. I want to say favorite 1, 2, or 3, but you know, it could, if it goes long, that's fine. This is gonna be great information. Every time I hear people talk like this around a beer or at the brewery or whatever, I'm always taking mental notes, because right when you think you've been to some of the hot spots, there's 10 others that you haven't been to. talking to you last Thursday, 2 Thursdays ago, we were talking, and I was already picking up more spots that we got to hit. That's the problem, right? Is where do we find time to do all this? But
I know.
you can't have
Never
it
ending.
figured out, but.
Working on it. Yeah. Yeah.
So we're gonna jump in and let's say, name your top 3 bike destinations. It can be one at a time. Brian, we're gonna start with you, and then not only what your top 3 are, but then maybe some of your favorite trails at those destinations, and then we'll start talking about maybe the bike shops that have been really helpful in those areas, and then what the brewery and food scenes in those spots, so people can take some notes. And interactive, so you'll mention a few. We might say we agree. What about this one? What about that one? So, hey folks, Mark Deering here from the Adventure Channel. Just wanted to formally introduce myself in case you haven't seen me without the helmet on and the full kit. Amy and I, my wife, are adventurers. We are loving what we're doing and meeting the community and doing all kinds of fun things. My day job, my real job is real estate. So I just wanted to let you guys know that if you have any real estate questions, if you're looking to move near the trails, if you're looking to move out of state, any of those types of things, we help hundreds of different mountain biking and adventure families find their base camp to live at. So we want to do the same with you. We couldn't do this without you guys, and we love working with folks that have the same passion as us. Go ahead and jump in.
All right, let's start with the obvious one, I guess. The Pacific Northwest is unmatchable as far as the types of riding you can do there. Anything from the wide, easy, greenest, just trying to get someone to come out with you, to the gnarliest things you could possibly see on a bike that you don't even think is physically possible. But the sea to sky coast is anything from starting in Bellingham, Washington, if you don't want to leave the country, is they have a great area to ride right in town. You can ride from downtown. There's a pump track at the bottom, get warmed up. Pretty short climb, pretty easy climb to get to all their trails. And you can really map out. If you look at the Trail Forks map of it, it is spaghetti string. Like, you really got to figure out how you're going to link it together and what trails you want to hit, because you can't play all the hits. And then from there up, like Squamish is the best place I've probably ever ridden. The 3 main zones there. Anything from terrible climbing that just goes on forever.
Sounds great.
Some people, that's their favorite part.
Yeah.
So I hear.
Okay. Dan DeWall, where are you?
To like shuttle runs or e-bike friendly stuff. And then Whistler is the home of modern mountain biking. And the stuff in the park is amazing. If you go after Labor Day, you can buy a season pass for, I think, $250
Right.
Canadian. Gotta love that exchange rate.
Gotta love it.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then, but honestly, the stuff across the street, across the valley, is even better riding. You just have to earn it a little bit more. Like probably the best trail there, like if you just want like an experience and want to climb all day, is they have a loop that's called Into the Mystic to On the Rocks, and you go down Lord of the Squirrels. The whole way up, it's 5,600 feet from the trailhead, which you've already climbed 1,200 feet to get to.
Wow.
The first year we rode from the village, we did not do that ever again.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
So you climb up, it's about 1,000 feet every mile of climbing, but it's like a dedicated climbing trail, so it's not the worst thing ever, but you're on a smooth, flowish type trail, you're in your Eagle gear climbing. And if you've got bigger than a 30 tooth up front, you're really pushing and struggling.
How long of a climb are we talking?
I think I did it, an hour and 40 minutes.
Wow.
But the first year was like 3.5.
Okay.
Like you're pushing, there's waterfalls, stuff to see on the way up. When you get to the top, it's very glacial up there. So there's still snow there basically year round. There's marmots running around and chirping and stuff. That's pretty neat. And you kind of go through all these rocks at the top. You have a minute like at a glacier pond at the top. And then when you start going down after that traverse at the top, it's considered a blue trail. It's pretty black
Pretty
blue.
black.
Yeah, that's what I was expressing.
There's it's kind of rock rolls all the way down, mixed with like old growth, like single track in the middle. I mean, it's an hour down.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Like, I
Okay.
mean, you could do it faster if you don't really want to enjoy it, but like doing it blind and seeing coming up to these rock rolls where you just don't know where the exit is
Sure.
is really difficult.
I got some questions on that. So, like what if you're going to do? That sounds amazing. What's your recommended bike? It's a loaded question, but like, what's your recommended bike for something like that? What's a minimum bike for something like that?
An all mountain bike, like a 130 rear travel, is about as light as you want to get for that
Sure.
ride. I mean, I saw people on like straight up cross country race bikes, like behind you.
No way.
Yeah,
Wow.
and that's what they like to do.
Wow.
But to really enjoy it, I think like probably a 150 travel, if your skill level isn't enough to like really feel confident on a 130. Like the climb is going to be a little bit worse going up, but like having that 150 going down will, especially being that tired, will allow a lot more room for error as you're going down. You don't have to be perfect.
Yep.
As perfect, I guess.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. And I will
Not
say,
perfect.
Yeah, not perfect.
and what I have found, when lightly traveled. Hey, lightly traveled.
Yeah, there you go.
When I have found with our lightly traveled selves is before I had a nice full suspension, we rented them, and that's a good thing for listeners here. Go out of state. If you're a hardtail person here, go to Colorado, go to Bentonville, go to Brevard, go to these places, rent a bike. Make sure you love it. Rent a bike. It's $100 a day. You can get a pretty nice one for $100 a day, I think.
Yep.
150 mil or whatever they suggest for that area, and that's what happened to me. I fell in love with I won't jump in, but that's a huge thing I think for people. And then do you take obviously you guys have really nice bikes. So you take your bikes. Is that highly recommended? Is it getting traveling all the way out there? What do you suggest?
I have a little equation I like to do in my head.
Okay.
If you've got to rent for more than 3 days, it's worth flying your bike.
Yeah.
Like I know Kellen
Yeah.
flies with Southwest,
Yeah,
so it's a little.
I've done
cheaper.
Whistler quite a few times for it too, and I definitely recommend renting a bike before I take my downhill bike when I go to Whistler. That's for the downhill park. But there's so much more outside of that I don't want a downhill bike to pedal.
Sure.
And I recommend renting a trail bike or something, or bring your trail bike, rent a downhill bike, because there's just so much there.
Sure.
And if you are only riding one, you're really missing out. And I usually go when I only ride the bike park, and there's so much more that I'd really like to ride, and I know I'm missing out on a lot of that other stuff, but it's definitely worth renting another bike if you have the opportunity to ride on the trails too.
Sure.
Or an e-bike.
Yeah.
There we go. That's
All that climbing?
Yes.
I was thinking e-bike.
Yes. Let's man, this is such a fun conversation. It's going to go in all these directions. So I wanted to ask one more question. Stuff that'll be kind of helpful, I think. You mentioned trail forks earlier. That's what we use. We use trail forks when we get in these areas. My Garmin 1030 has trail forks right on it. So you come to a stop, you look down, and it shows you where in spaghetti you are. To go left if you want to go back to town, go right. Is that what you guys use too? Is that what you recommend?
Yeah, I run the same thing, Garmin trail forks on it. It works great I ride Marquette area a lot of that too, and I get lost all the time in there. And then I just pull it up, all right, where am I? Where am I trying to go? And it's great. Having a little bike computer does help a lot.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't have a Garmin or anything. I just follow where they're going. It works pretty well for me, so I've got some pretty good maps, I will say.
And if it's a big jump, do you pass over them?
Try not to get lost.
Yeah, right.
All right, so we were talking Pacific Northwest is your favorite. What would be? Oh, let's talk about the brewery scene. It's got to be specifically. That's a big area. Where are we talking exactly? Would be your favorite?
Well, a quick note on a trail forks thing.
Okay.
For people that are traveling a lot, if you go on the website page as opposed to just the app on your phone, you can. There's actually a travel trips guide thing, and you can if you got to go visit grandma in Arizona, you can put where you live to where she is, how far you're willing to travel off of the route for driving, and it'll rank the
nice.
trails that you should stop at.
Oh,
and
wow.
also in there, you can actually set it up and go segment by segment. Like, so in West Michigan, we have a lot of loops, and it's pretty easy. You just go to the trailhead, ride a loop, leave,
Right.
whatever.
Yep.
When you get out to the spaghetti, all the trails are very segmented, and they make an actual turn-by-turn route builder that you can click on each link of each trail and roads to connect them, and you can build a route. It will show you your climbing, where you are, how far you have to go, where you are in the climbs, and it's when you go out to some of these like epic riding places, you can get so lost,
Yes.
and no one wants you pulling their phone out
Yeah.
at every intersection.
There's gonna be some people laughing because we've been lost in
Done
Brevard.
that many times.
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
You don't want to waste half your day. I won't.
Right.
We had a whole story of like we thought we lost somebody, you know, and it was a half a day, you know, and it takes away
Oh,
from the
geez.
riding. So yeah, great point.
Becomes an argument.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
We're not lost. One question I was going to ask you is, when you go to a new place, have you ever hired a local guide to show you around, whether it was a half a day or you hired him for a couple of hours? Because we've not been to that area yet. It's on our radar.
Yeah.
But we've been to a couple of places. One of them was Duluth, Minnesota. And we've done this in another spot, but we hired a local guide because there was so many miles, so much terrain.
Kanuga was same
It was
way.
just overwhelming. Like,
Yeah.
where do we start? Where do we go? And they would ask you, okay, how many miles? What's your level? And they would kind of help you map out the day. And then we tried to do that in the beginning of the trip. And then the next days, it's like you could figure out.
Yep.
So that was that. I mean, I loved your tip. That's great. I think I'll use that tool for sure. But I love the local guide idea too, because they usually know the restaurants and the breweries and all that fun stuff too.
I want to comment on that too. So the bike shops, right? So if the first time we went to Brevard, first time we went to Bentonville, the first time we hit these different places, my first thing I do on Google is I find what bike shops there, and I call there and I say, hey, this will be our first time there or second time, whatever. Where do you recommend? Which campground is closest to the trailheads? This is all like over the phone before you even make your reservations. Every bike shop is super helpful. I mean, everybody's probably had that experience. They love talking bikes. They love talking what you should do. I say, hey, what tires are you guys running down there? Are you running 2.4s with, whatever. Oh yeah, don't bring those down here. They'll tell you, and so you don't get it. You're not spending the whole time with flats. That's no fun either. You keep getting a flat tire. And then once we get there, we go into the bike shop, and a lot of them have coffee, beer sitting out. They got the giant map the size of this table. They're talking to you, and you try to describe to them Michigan, here's my elevation, what we're used to. And they're usually pretty good at not sending you down something crazy. For you guys, though, I'm sure you're like, send me to the gnarly stuff.
Biggest stuff
We have to like qualify ourselves. Like, we ride this type of stuff.
Do you really?
Do you really? Because a lot of people say they.
Yeah.
Right.
We
Good
go out
point.
with us, and they're like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good point.
So second trail, or what would be your second favorite to talk about trail wise?
I've been really into Bentonville lately.
You bought property there.
I did buy property there.
It's a good sign.
Yeah, just for the variety of trails and what they're building down there, the friends, the cost to buy land right now, it all made sense. If you would have asked me 10 years ago, I would never have even thought about going to Arkansas. It would have been somewhere on the East Coast, somewhere a little rockier. To qualify it, I've never been the biggest fan of like open alpine stuff. So like Colorado and Utah have never been my favorite places to go.
Surprises me actually.
The type of riding I like, I really like being challenged with roots and rocks and like rock rolls and stuff like that.
Meet your new best friend, Josh.
Like my background is a downhill racer mostly and a slalom person. So love jump trails and love going really fast over rocks. Somebody biased that way. Yeah, Bentonville's great for any ability rider. Again, we just got back with.
Yeah. And my mom she's like just starting to get into it this year, and she's been getting very good for how early she started. And I just like how we can ride next to each other. Like I can go ride some big jumps, and then right next to that there's like a green trail, and then we can meet up at the end. And it's so nice because then we can like hang out as a family and stuff, and not just like ride separate ways.
Absolutely. That was one of the
Great
things I noticed down there. Like, is it Slaughter Pen downtown?
Yeah.
Where, you got the Greenway, you got Slaughter Pen, and we were there on a Saturday, and I'm like, there was like hundreds of kids just doing sessions up and down that one thing. And then I'm like, that is so cool. They spend their whole Saturday there. And then there was like you say, off to the right, all these big giant jump lines, and some blacks. There's some blacks just past that, and some. Mom can cruise the Greenway. You can go hit the blacks, and that is a all-inclusive area. I would say they did a really good job of making any ability. I think I get everybody's opinion on this, but I think if you were to say where can I go to get an all-inclusive ride in where we got 5 different levels, that's got to be the best. I would say. I can't think of.
They're in
We love it.
Knoxville, probably.
Yeah.
Knoxville was
Knoxville?
good.
Knoxville's
Yeah.
pretty sweet too.
I would agree.
Okay.
We
A
would
park, you can go
definitely-
some places and
Yeah, we love Bentonville and Bella Vista for exactly what you just described. It's like beginner to expert. It's
Yeah.
got really everything. And if you're riding cross country or if you want to session a jump line, I mean, you could do that all in the like one little area of the trail.
And if you want to ride gravel or road, I mean,
That's true.
it's-
They've really got the
caters
Greenway, gravel, or mountain bike, and we have close friends that we introduced to Bentonville and Bella Vista, and just bought a home there. And exactly what you just said, just the cost of living, accessibility to trails. There's art, culture, Bentonville brewing, and it's a great little area. It's got a nice mix. And it's a nice size of town. It's
and
not too overwhelming.
It feels Midwestern still.
It does. Yeah, it's very
It doesn't feel very.
pretty
southern.
chill. It's got a great vibe.
Yeah.
And they have downhill parks opening.
Yeah.
They do.
Very
We heard about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, one of our friends, Mike Rogan, owns a company. He just built a downhill park at Howler, which is in Branson, Missouri, on the way there or home. There's one at Lake Leatherwood. There's a downhill park, which is Eureka Springs, one of the coolest towns you'll ever step foot in and walk around in.
Very unique.
Yeah, it is very unique.
I know Rock Solid Trail Building from up in Copper Harbor is set to build, kind of going through the red tape phase of it, but Magazine Mountain, which is like kind of the elevation of Whistler almost. So from what I've heard of the different projects and what they're building down there, it will literally be every genre from the road riding and gravel riding all the way up to like full 8-inch travel downhill bikes
Did you say in Bentonville?
within an hour drive.
Okay.
Oh. What's it
Just
called?
that
Magazine?
That's a little far. It's like an hour and a half, I
Okay.
think.
I
Okay.
mean, that's still pretty close.
Yeah.
If you're living there.
Wow.
It's the wrong direction from us from Michigan. That's the
Oh.
problem. What's wrong with
Further south.
with Devil's Den?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Springdale or whatever's down there, yeah. So, wow. So they're going to build a downhill with a ton of elevation, the same as Whistler. I mean, that's a...
And the elevation's got to be more like 3,000, which is more like a wind rock
Okay.
in the Ozarks there.
Look what Windrock's done. I mean,
And they're completely rebuilding the park right now.
yeah.
They're completely building another side to that park and moving that bike park right now.
Okay.
Yeah, and another thing that's cool about Windrock is they have the 4-wheeling stuff there as well. So
Yep.
like, say like my uncles and my cousins and stuff, they all like 4-wheeling a lot. So we got to go on a family vacation where they could all go 4-wheeling and
Yep.
stuff, and I was able to ride bikes when I wanted to do that as well. So like people who have different things that they like to do, Windrock's a cool place for that.
Yep.
But it's also very high tech with
Yeah, you were telling me that,
Yeah.
that place is like, and if it can make you pucker, I know that.
yeah.
It's a
I know
World
that's out
Cup
of my
training
wheelhouse.
ground.
Yeah.
That's where the World Cup racers go. They train.
Okay.
it's pretty
Yeah.
scary.
So I'll take my Polaris Razor. I'll keep my bike at home. And,
There's stuff that you can ride. It's just not getting over your head.
Yeah.
Especially on day one when you're all excited.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's a
And
big
not on
Right.
like day 6 when you're all tired. It's trying to find like peak confidence to body.
Sure. Sure.
Good advice.
Yes. So your second favorite was Bentonville, and sounds like, and that was somewhat because of
Yeah, the community and stuff. As far as trails go, I mean, it's got really great trails, and there's a ton of trails there. I mean, there's better places to ride in the country, and there's like your hidden gems and all that stuff. But like, if I'm planning a bike trip where I want to get bang for my buck, it's going to be Pacific Northwest first. But you got to fly. But as a driving destination, and you've got a long weekend, then Bentonville or Knoxville, they're in an arms race. They're seeing who can outspend each other.
Okay. That makes sense.
It's always best for us.
Yeah. I'm always impressed online where they're like building this new, I think we were talking about this recently too, where they're building some crazy structure. They're probably putting 100,000 into this thing, and there's not really any feature for it. It just looks cool, but they just spent 100,000. Okay. You know?
What, like the castle, right?
Yeah.
That new.
Oh, yeah.
Our friends
Our
built
friend,
that.
yeah, he's,
And that's in Bentonville or near Slaughter.
Yeah, the guy
right?
that started the
castle?
skills park with us
Okay.
is the lead welder and fabricator down in Bentonville now.
We had a great time that didn't he?
It was,
Yeah.
it was us three kind of rebuilt that skills
Yeah.
area, and he went on worked for them. Now he's
Okay.
he's building down there. Yeah.
Okay. Well, let's jump to some of your favorites, Mike.
I really like Bentonville. I really like Knoxville, but I would have to say Highland Bike Park in New Hampshire is pretty sweet for me because there's so much you can ride, right? So you can start on the green trail, like I said, like you can start, and then there's so much progression. Like the first time I went to Highland, I rode the trail called Cat's Paw, and it's perfect because it's just like little jumps and stuff, and it's fast. And then I moved up to like more rocky stuff, right? And then it got rockier and rockier and rockier, and then the jumps got bigger and bigger. And after 3 days, it was like double black diamond. It's like just,
You progress fast.
and it was just really cool to see all that. And then they also have dirt jumps, and then they also have an indoor skate park. And I did a camp there last year,
Oh,
and
cool.
it was like
No doubt.
so it rained a lot, so we would ride like muddy trails for a while, and then we go ride the indoor skate park.
Nice.
And then it was all kids, which was sweet because I don't get to ride with kids very often. I mean,
Sure.
which was
Us old
pretty sweet for
people.
me. Yeah.
What's the name of the camp? Like in case
It's
people
called Air Academy, so AYR Academy.
AYR, okay.
Yeah, it's in Highland Bike Park in New
Okay.
Hampshire.
Very
But
cool.
Yeah, Mike's trail. He's talking about Cat's Paw. Like, it's one of all of our favorite trails.
Yeah.
It's a
Best
blue
of all
trail.
time.
yeah, it's
But-
sweet.
There's so many different lines on that one trail. Like we all like riding it. We ride different stuff. And a beginner can ride kind of down the roll or right down the center of that. But there's like rock jumps, big gap jumps on the side that
Yeah.
all of us can have fun riding the same trail together and at all skill levels. And
Nice.
it's just so much variety on one trail, and there's a lot of that around that area.
Yeah.
I'm seeing a trend here too where, even you guys that can handle the craziest and the gnarliest and whatever, sounds like you guys still like to be able to go where friends who maybe are still transitioning into
Yes.
that can have fun too. It's good to hear that you're not like,
It's
I'm not going to ride
Yeah,
it.
why leave them, right?
Yeah.
Gotta split that gas money.
Oh, that's how. Yeah. No, that's cool.
and it is like not just the riding there. It is really sweet to see other people's progression as well. Like these guys have seen me since like just riding over rollers and stuff and learning that all the way up to now. And
Yep.
I think that was pretty sweet. And also like just seeing like other people learn. And I'm trying to like kind of learn their ways of teaching and
Sure.
try to teach some of the other kids.
Yeah, pass it on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and which is pretty fun. I like seeing the progression as much as progressing. If that makes sense.
That is cool.
Yeah.
That is cool.
That's
and
great.
as I'm thinking of it, Katie, my video editor, grab we break.
Dang, that's funny.
Water bottle down.
Shoot over pictures. Any of you guys got some sweet pictures of anything we're talking
You're the
about?
king of sweet pictures.
Send them over, and while we're talking about these different areas and while we're talking about these different things, if you can name the files what it is, we'll throw it on the screen. These different places you're talking about riding and stuff like that. So that'd be cool. So Kellen, what are some of your favorites? I know you guys travel together. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna break it down into what type of bike I'm riding.
Okay.
Downhill biking that I love Whistler Bike Park, and there's so many trails there. It's ridiculous. Most bike parks I went to, you can ride all the trails in a day. Last time I was at Whistler, I have been going to Whistler every year for the past like 5 years or so until COVID hit. Then we took a couple of years off. Now we're planning a trip again. We'll go already this next summer. But I made a goal. I'm going to ride every trail in Whistler. Last time I was there, it took me 3.5 days to ride every single trail once.
Wow. So there's a lot there.
There is so much there.
How many hours a day is that?
All day.
Okay.
Let's start turning at, it's either 9
All
or
day.
It's like, let's start turning at 9 or 10 in the morning and stop at 8 at night.
Wow.
Right? It's a full day and you're riding all
I
day
did
long.
4 hours at a bike park and I was like,
Yeah, it's, I'm trained all winter right now for my arms and all that. Like I do weights, rolling it out, get forearms and all that built. Like you train for it.
I
There's
thought
so
for
much
sure,
to ride there. And
Wow.
I thought for sure when I had a blast and I was definitely going back, but I thought, oh, I'm in pretty good XC shape. This should be no problem. Different muscles,
Yeah.
different.
Different thing. Yeah.
What was the bike park that you were at?
Jackson Hole.
That's right.
Jackson Hole, and I don't know much about bike parks, but that was my first one, and they only had a couple black diamonds, and I was happy that I hit one of them. But the other one, I don't know why I didn't. I think I was getting jelly legs, so I didn't go into the last one. But I Buddy went back a little early, and I just kept going and going and going. I'm like, this is a blast. I'm like, bigger guy. Came back joking with my buddies. I'm like, I'm a gravity guy. I want to use gravity. Why do I keep fighting uphill? I just need to go downhill.
There you go.
So
yeah, like, Whistler's just a giant place. I mean, most bike parks you go to, there's like a one lift to take you to the top. There's actually 3 lifts for Whistler.
4.
Yeah, they take that. There's 4.
So
Yeah,
up,
you go up, then you can go down from there, or there's no lift. You go up from there,
Wow.
and then you can go up again.
Okay.
And there's 3 lifts all the way to the top and trails all the way down. And if you go all the way to the top, it can take you an hour and a half to get all the way down.
jeez.
And there's just so much variety of trails too. You can do the nasty rock tech stuff or big jump lines or just flowy, smooth. They have a green line that starts from the top of the first lift and it's like almost 4 miles long, just down weaving.
Jeez.
It's just so much there. It's fun.
I've heard. So those that might want to learn more about bike parks and whatnot. I'm not the guy to talk to. You guys are, but I've heard and I witnessed in a short amount of time, like as long as you're smart, they're not gonna send you into a 20-foot double that if you roll, you're gonna die. It's pretty.
Those bike parks are so well built that they're almost made idiot proof.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to send you into a giant gap without you knowing it. And even like jumps and that, the landings are super mellow and long. So
yep.
very hard to overshoot. If you come up short, it's not a big deal either.
Right.
Very rarely do you see gap jumps or something like that isn't plastered everywhere. Hey, gap jump, warning,
Yeah.
It's
It's
trails
double black, I think, at a place like Whistler. I think to even add a gap or have a decent sized drop that you can't roll over, I think it has to be double black.
Okay.
Like they make it look scary to you in a black diamond, but knowing that it's built by a professional, you can roll it.
And they have insurance they got to pay. They got to make sure it's
Yeah,
safe.
yeah.
They're making it safe as possible
Yep.
as they can. And there's
And I've
warnings
heard
everywhere.
And I've heard the phrase used a bunch, and then it started to make sense. Trail speed, right? Like they build them with trail speed. So now that's to me, it's a little. You got to be used to having your bike in the air, But I mean, you can't just say, "Oh, I'm just going trail speed." You got to be able to handle your bike as it gets, up in the air. So practice that a little slowly but surely. But there usually isn't like you're not going to case it hard, or you're not going to this or that if you just go with the trail. And even if you're at the bottom of the trail speed or at the top of the trail speed, it still feels good for both of those people.
Yeah, there's that air factor built into a lot of the jumps and features, stuff like that.
Yep. Highly recommend trying it. Like I'm a bigger guy. It's not like I'm like I can tail whip and all this other stuff, and I had a blast. It was a good time. So what else you got for?
Just the last thing about Whistler, that it's such a big place in the Mecca of mountain bikes. You run the pros there all the time, like the people see on TV, and that you'll just see them in the lift line, or you see them all suddenly ripping down the trail. Like I got a couple of good stories of just running the pros. Like I remember going down a trail, next thing I hear just the rip of the sound of someone ripping through a corner, and it's Finn Isles, yeah. Just tearing a tire off his rim. He's testing out new tires, and these things suck. These are crap. And then you see him next week racing the exact same tires. These are the greatest things. For the sponsors. kind of get some of the inside stuff. But yeah, just watch them rip tires off rims, stuff like that. I remember,
Wow.
you know, after riding all day, sitting in a hot tub and watching our dog come down and sit in the hot tub with us as he was, you know, test jumping some of the stuff for the what's the Crankworks stuff, the big
Okay.
jump stuff like that. You know, just hear him talk about jump stuff like that. Just being at a big mecca place like that, you just run into those people.
Run into, because it brings that area brings. a ton
It's
of
yeah,
people.
just having that big of a place, you're running those people. It's kind of cool just having that experience too.
That is cool.
Yeah, celebs.
Which a lot of those people are really like. If you see somebody, it's kind of cool because you don't always have to be like just stay away from those people. Stay away from those people because they're always really nice.
Yep.
Like a lot of the people that I've met have been they've hung out with me for a whole day and just like coached me through stuff, and I've learned a lot from that.
Yep.
Like if you know David Lieb, he was my coach at Highland at the Air Academy, and he stuck with me for a long time, just working on backflips and stuff. And that was like we stayed there for like a whole day, just
Well,
like.
when I was learning backflip,
I was gonna say, how's your backflip
He was
coming
off
along,
a diving
Mark?
board.
my back is flipping right now. No.
They're just normal people, really. They're not like, you know, movie celebrities where they're famous everywhere.
Right.
As soon as they step foot out of a bike park, no one knows who they are. They're
Right.
just normal
Right.
people, and
Yeah,
that's
right.
they don't. They're just normal
Because
people.
if you're not in
That's-
the bike community, you don't know.
they have no
Right.
idea. As soon as they step foot out of a bike park, they're just a normal person again.
Yeah.
No one knows.
Yep. I've noticed that, like, obviously we're biased because we're heavily into the biking community, but I've noticed that in like our local celebrity guys, you know, like the Matt Ackers and the I can't think of his name right now. Tall, skinny.
That narrows it down.
Yeah. Tall, skinny. That's all. Gosh.
It's on the tip of my tongue.
Anyways, what's that?
Nate Van Blois.
No. Anyways, I mean, you bump into them and they'll talk your ear off. You're intimidated maybe to talk to them, but they're probably rather you come and talk to them. You know, I mean, they prefer it to not make it weird. And next thing you know, they're talking your ear off because they appreciate somebody coming and talking to them. It's gonna bug me. They can't think of that name.
Yeah, and even at Cansburg, we'd rather somebody like ask for us to like tow them into a jump than just do it by ourselves because that's scary, right? And
Right.
we'd rather them be safe and ask questions on how to do stuff than just go do it.
Yep.
Yeah,
Hope
absolutely.
for the best, right?
Yeah.
Cross your
We
fingers.
have a strict rule of no talking people into stupid stuff on trip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like the fastest way to wreck a good bike trip is to follow your friend to the hospital and sit with them all day.
Yeah.
Yes. Good point.
Know your friend's ability levels. Make sure they stay within it. Like you can push and progress a little bit, but
Yeah. And
Awesome
That's
topic,
great.
actually. You know, I mean,
Great
this is,
point.
this is a really good topic. I mean, we don't have to spend a lot of time on it, but yeah, what is like the thumb rule on that? How do you have that conversation with people? Like, how do you bring it up? Like,
I mean,
you can kind of tell. Like my dad always trusted them to make sure that I'm doing the right thing and not pushing it. And even if I was pushing it, they would tell me if I was pushing it, which that's sweet. So to know the people that you're riding with is a big thing for sure.
Yeah.
yeah, because that is no fun at all.
Yeah.
You know, you just paid big bucks to go somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
So,
I've had those trips wrecked.
Well, and we all know the ability of our riders we ride with. If you rode with them enough, it's
Yeah.
just a matter of saying something. Because sometimes you won't say anything. You're like, oh, she'll be all right. And then, oh, she's in the ER. So opening them out sometimes is the hardest thing to do.
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess for us, you know, seeing people ride enough, you can see people that are smooth, and just seeing how their smoothness, how they ride. So that's how you can kind of pick out the good riders, if they're
Sure.
smooth on stuff like that, or if they're just bouncing around.
Yeah, the way they're positioned.
if
and
they're
stuff.
riding the bike or they're just holding on, that's
Yeah.
kind of how you can pick out who's
Yeah.
Yeah.
who's no one's going to do it if they're ready for something. And if
There's a funny story from Brown County. We went down there with a good mix of different levels, and one of the daughters of one of our teammates, and she's their teammate too, she still razzes me to this day. She's like, we rode one day and had fun, and then the next day you said, it's just a step up. She said, I said, it's just a step up. She goes,
Step up.
that was not just a step up. So I got a little more. And but I knew she was able. I know she was able. She went out and did a class in you know, she went out west and did a class too, and went with the ladies, and it was pretty cool. So she's also learning and all that type of stuff. I had confidence in her. She was, you're good, you're fine.
Exactly, and that's a big thing too, is confidence. Like,
Yeah.
if you're not confident, then you're also just gonna be holding on. But if you are confident and you're over the bike and you're holding on to like and know where you're gonna go instead of just like holding on, then that's also a big thing with being comfortable on the bike as well.
Absolutely. Good advice.
That's where the lessons come in
Oh yeah.
a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Like just building those skills with muscle repetition on little things around here.
And I'm sure with your lessons you've gone through that you get people in there who are like newer to the sport and want to go and hit some bigger stuff, but you're putting them through like their stuff. You're like, it's not quite ready yet. Like it's just a little more practice, and it's like any sport we do. And I think mountain biking is the one sport that we kind of deviate from this whole like rule of you need to practice first before you go out and do stuff. Like most people are like, we're just going to go on the trail. Where in other sports, basketball, you're practicing all the time.
Fundamentals.
It's all fundamentals, and in mountain
then you
biking,
go.
it's just like I got a bike, I'm just going to go ride. And
Even warm up. Like
oh, in a world, they just
who
like
goes and plays football and doesn't throw the ball first?
right. We're just going to step right,
Yeah.
ride,
Good point.
stone cold and go out. So that's one of the biggest things that I find is people just don't put enough time in, outside the trail, like in the grass or at the park.
Or sessioning different areas that
Yeah.
might give you problems. Instead of trying to like win your Strava time for the
Right.
year, instead of just like I coached a clinic at DT
Yeah.
we were talking about before, and the guys I had knew the trail better than I did. Honestly, they ride there all the time. They're from that side of the state, but breaking it down and sessioning, we had a blast. Like I didn't know you could just stop on the trail and,
Yeah.
and do this and get good at it, and then watching like those riders like progress into that, and then seeing what they're going to be able to do on their next bike destination trip is like the ultimate rewards.
I think it opens the eyes once they do take a lesson of like, oh, I can session and do this for half an hour and I will improve compared to just going out and riding for an hour and a half and saying I started and I finished and let's go grab a beer kind of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll raise my hand in. I'm kind of that guy, and I'm trying to not be that guy. But like you get used to around here, our trails are pretty tame. You just get used to like,
And their loops.
and they're
Right.
loose.
Yes, exactly.
So you just get used to
Yeah.
racing your buddies or racing your PR, or not to the degree where some people are, where they're get out of my way, I'm going for my PR. None of that. But leaving state, I have noticed that a lot more. Where it's not how light your bike is and how all this other stuff. It's literally how comfortable your bike is, and stop and look at this awesome waterfall and take a picture with your wife and.
I was like, you're channeling Amy right now. Where is she?
Yeah.
That's me too. I'm like, did you notice that waterfall or that lake? And Josh will be like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Yeah. What waterfall? Yeah,
But-
I run into that a lot. But no, that's a good. Once you start, we're talking about destinations. We're talking about getting out there. If you fell in love with mountain biking locally, and these trails like the back of your hand, and you're doing them trying to do them at a faster pace. When you leave state, it flips on you, and it's in a good way. Like it brings a whole new element to it. Different things to see, and it turns into back to that all levels thing too. Locally, unless you have a big enough group, there's usually not all levels. But you go out of state, and you can quickly ride a full day, and everyone's going to have as much fun. So
That's the currency of a good trip, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
The fun you had and shared.
The fun meter, yeah.
What
Yeah.
you conquered compared to what someone else thought was the highlight of their day over some beers and some food at the end of the day.
absolutely.
That's the pinnacle of the bike trip right
Yeah.
there.
Bike, friends,
It's
beer.
like rinse and repeat every day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's always changing.
Yeah, I love it. That's why we love to do mountain bike trips. Is exactly. I mean, we always say, okay, let's go have a beer and tell me your experience. Or most often, we've already heard about them or remember them and say, hey, Steve, hey, Josh.
A lot of the most fun memories
Yeah.
that we've had was just like after riding and just hanging out in the parking lot. And
Hot tub.
yeah,
Hot tub.
hot tub's always nice.
Right?
I learned how to throw a frisbee one time. That's pretty sweet.
Yep.
Yeah, but
All
yeah,
that
just a lot of
camaraderie
different
stuff.
memories happened that's off the bike while you're on bike trips.
Because you're on a bike and you're with a group of guys.
Yeah, yeah.
Or women.
And my girlfriend actually travels on all the trips with us.
Yeah.
And is a very skilled rider as well. And just having that with each other has been a huge thing too.
And she's been a huge part of me progressing as well, like following where her lines go, because she's better than all of us, I'm not gonna lie.
She is?
With picking lines.
Okay.
She's a lot more careful.
Yes.
Okay.
So she's very good at picking lines.
Gotcha.
Safe,
Ah.
nice, good
Gotcha.
lines.
You just watch the
Yes.
bike.
So if you follow her for a lap and just like watch where she goes, and then follow Brian, go Brian's pace, but go through the lines, then it's a lot smoother. And that's like a huge thing that I love. It's
Good
just,
to know if we ride with you guys and following your wife. Good to know.
You don't follow my lines. I see something, I'm like, that looks like the hardest thing. That's the way I'm going. That's the hardest, nastiest way. See if I can do it. That's the
Two
way I'm
people
going.
have done this before. I'm gonna do it.
I still have that race there. I'm still looking for high lines and like
Yeah.
inside turns and stuff. Probably not the most fun. Going down the hill a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But if you want to pull away from your friends and wait for them and be like, "Oh, where were you?" It's the way to do it.
I love it.
Right.
Laura, what would be some of your favorite destinations?
Well, I've added that to our list, your suggestion, because we've done Bentonville and we've been to Knoxville as well. But I think that I would speak for both of us, but I'm sure Josh might come up with a better answer. But we'd say Arizona,
It's like Sedona area.
Flagstaff, Sedona, or Phoenix.
Flagstaff was
Flagstaff
Amazing.
was most recently we were there. We had never ridden Flagstaff, and it was pretty epic. There was a lot of climbing,
and a lot of chunk.
a lot of chunk.
Whole
It
lot.
was like risk reward, right? You did your climb. Like Schultz Creek was just a nice, you still had to churn up. It was probably like 3 or 4 miles up.
Yeah.
You kind of can go up the road or up the trail. There's different ways you can go, and then you just have this great bomber down, and it's chunky, and then there's sections, so it's, for me, I mean, I was, I'm intermediate, I can do some advanced stuff, so it was a good, because we could do double blacks, or I could do a black down the same trail, really. You could kind of make it whatever level rider you were, but Flagstaff was awesome. Views are amazing.
We had a really nice bike park there also.
And there was Fort Tuttle has a bike park
Yeah.
where Josh actually got blown off a log
Yeah.
by a wind gust.
Wipes off really
True
hard.
story. It was really windy, and there was some wildfires in the area at the time, and literally Josh got blown off this log.
It was
A
rough
wind
fall.
gust. I was like, I came and I found you. I was like, what happened?
The only time that I always put my knee pads on, I didn't put them on that time. So we're at the bike park. It's in suffer the consequences. Suffer the consequences.
Nice
Never
strawberry.
Never fails.
But yeah, so Flagstaff, I mean, I sort of said Arizona because we love Sedona and have ridden there
Love that area. I
many,
didn't
many
bike there, but-
times. And then Flagstaff was new to us. And then we've biked in the Phoenix and Tucson area.
Tucson was fun.
And
For
they're,
Tucson's great.
they're all amazing in their own right. And then we were all talking about, it's great because honestly, there's beginner stuff. There's a lot of intermediate. There's a ton of gnarly stuff.
Yeah.
Because really, honestly, we're two totally different types of riders. Like, I like being challenged. Bike parks, I'm like medium on. Like, but that you could just spend an entire day at a bike park and be happy. And I'd be like, can we go ride some trails? So we try to find destinations that we both really either riding together or with a group, we could split off or meet back up. And so Arizona, I think. I named 4 kind of destinations, and that's one of our favorites. And not to mention, it's beautiful. It's just absolutely gorgeous. Not that, Northwest isn't, but Sedona especially is, I mean, even if you're riding just super chill, I mean, just the views are crazy.
Waiting for the coyote to catch the roadrunner.
Yeah.
around you all the
Yes.
Where's our car coming by?
Right?
Looking for acne holes in the trail.
I thought downtown Flagstaff was a lot of fun. Like after ride,
Yes.
old historic, it's
Beautiful
old,
town.
old Route 66.
Historic brewing.
Yeah, historic
Oh.
brewing was great.
So there you go.
And everything was walkable. So wherever you kind of stayed downtown, you could walk to wherever you wanted.
Yeah.
And it wasn't more than like a 10-minute walk to brewery to restaurant.
Yeah. I think there were actually 6 or 7 breweries in downtown Flagstaff. Plus, it's a fun college town. So it's ASU, right? Or Northern Arizona University is there. So that's a really fun town.
And fun fact, if you ever go there, definitely go to the university and drive around or ride around, and you'll see these little like robots on wheels that are delivering food to students.
What?
And they like if there's an intersection, they'll stop the intersection and they'll wait for no cars to go. And
About like
then go
yay
across.
big.
It's unreal. Like I sat and watched. I was like, what is this? What's going on?
Bentonville has those.
It's crazy.
Really?
I just sat there like in amazement, and I asked somebody. They're like, "Yeah, the little robots that deliver food. Students ask for some food, and it gets delivered to the place."
Like Uber Eats or whatever.
Yeah.
Grubhub or whatever on
Yeah,
robot.
it's in a little robot that has like a little container on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'd have to have like tracks on them up here so I can get through the snow.
No doubt, right?
Yeah, right. Good point. But yeah, so Arizona. Did you want a second?
Let's hear a
A
second.
second. So it's a tough one. I don't want to say Bentonville because we've already talked about it. We do love it, but I'm going to say Western North Carolina and Brevard, or so Pisgah and Dupont, which is Brevard or Hendersonville, North Carolina. And we've probably been there 4, 5, 6 times now, and we liked it so much we actually got married there.
Cool.
Nice.
That's
So
awesome.
that's kind of it's a special place, but we love to bike there too.
And you
Yeah.
talked about earlier about
Yeah.
full suspension compared to
Yeah.
hardtail. That was our introduction to full suspension. We rented some bikes from
did.
the
The hub.
Hub back before they were
Yeah.
at their new place across the street. And
Yeah.
that was our first introduction to full suspension. We're like, man, we've got to get one of these.
Oh, I never looked back.
Yeah.
I rode it. It was like a Santa Cruz high
Yeah,
tower,
high tower
or
or
something. And I went, I've got to have that bike. You know, and I think we started looking and
Yeah.
making the transition after
Well,
that trip.
It just opened our eyes, and that was, 8 years ago now from our trip?
Yeah, I think it was. Yeah.
We had a good
Bikes make a
hardtails.
huge difference. Bikes make a huge
Yeah.
difference.
But yeah, so DuPont, Forest, and then Pisgah. I mean, there's just so much
And
terrain.
Brevard.
I know you guys have biked
Like
there
Hendersonville area, did you guys
Yeah.
ride Kanuga, stuff like that?
Yeah, we
Or was
rode
that-
Kanuga.
Okay.
too. We did. We
Yeah,
did
we-
make one stop.
Canoe
at
was when we got
Kanuga.
flooded.
Riveter.
We
Yeah,
got there, a
Riveter's
rain
sweet.
hit us, and just pretty much pushed us down the hill.
Yeah.
And that was it. It was so fast. It came in like that, and then the trail was like had a foot of water in it, like
Yeah.
in like 5 minutes.
We were like trying to outrun the
water.
river down the
Yeah.
hill to get back to the
Yeah.
car that day.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, Kanuga's fun down there. Kanuga changed my life as far as riding bikes because Kanuga is one of those places. It's a climb to the top. You can
It is
rent your bike, or you can pedal yourself. And you know,
a good mile up,
I'm
isn't
cheap.
it?
I'm gonna pedal myself. So the first time I
Yeah.
went there, I think I made it up 4 times, and I was done. I was spent. And
Same.
there were so many more trails to ride.
Same.
I
like,
I
I'm
came
done.
home
It was
and I'm
hot.
like,
Okay.
I came home like this is not happening again. I bought a trainer and I ride a trainer in my basement all winter long. Like I do a minimum of 100 miles a week, all winter
That's
long.
awesome.
That's a great topic. Like I joke with some friends. I'm like, you guys, we have to be in shape to vacation. I mean, it's a thing.
true.
You know,
Yeah,
you
I
can't-
do weights, I do train
Yeah.
all winter long,
We're
so I
not
can
sitting on
ride
the
in summer.
beach, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can't go to these beautiful areas and not take in these awesome trails. You know, no matter what it is, it's like, you know, and so that is part of like, I joke with my wife. You know, I'm like, hey, we need to be in shape because when we get to go to these places, we need to see what's there. You know, and she did get. We didn't talk much about e-bike thing, but we did get my wife an e-bike, and that is nice. Like, and I think you guys have.
Okay, Kanuga's like that's
Perfect for
that's
e-bikes,
the
yeah.
perfect place to
That's,
learn on.
will
oh
be.
my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, I learned a e-bike at Kanuga, and it was a cool experience.
If you train enough, you can outlast all your friends.
That was
over there.
That was the batteries all time. That was the goal. Last time we were there, we outlasted our friends with e-bikes, and we beat them. Their batteries died first.
We did more runs.
They did more runs. We made it longer in the day. No, the first time I was there, I think I got 4 runs, and last time I was there, I think we got 14.
Now,
Nice.
Now, did Kanuga? They opened another part.
Yeah,
They
Correct in
just
that?
yeah,
like
Nico
jump-
just did another part.
Yeah. It's not too far away from there.
Yeah, and Kanuga just built a bunch of jumps at the bottom of the parking lot too that are
Oh, they
actually
did.
pretty
Like a
fun,
slope
too.
style type course
Yeah.
down at the bottom.
That's sweet.
Because we went, last year was it, Laura? Was it last year?
Yes,
Yeah, last-
we did.
last
Yeah,
summer.
that was it was relatively new at that time, and then we were just in Hendersonville and Brevard area just in October. We
Yeah.
were just there really recently, and you were doing a coach's clinic
Yep.
for Ninja, and then so I got off and got to ride and went to Dupont and did Pisgah, like Lower Black and some of that stuff, and so since I was riding solo, I tried to,
Tame.
just not go too, and I'm usually pretty in control anyway, so
Sure.
Yeah.
You just
Those are
thought-
my top favorite.
That's awesome. That is really good. You just said something that made me think something to ask you guys. You know, you get into these areas, Pisgah, for example, no phone signal, right? Like where else?
True.
Where else do you guys go? When we went to Pisgah and Daniels Ridge, we had a little issue with directions. We didn't have. We had a little issue with directions, let's say, and we have learned from there, and we haven't put this to use yet, but we're going to take radios with us because when you get in those areas,
Two ways. Yeah.
yeah, and like, because one guy was ahead on an e-bike. Mike, I'm throwing you under the bus. And he didn't see the T. He thought it was continuous trail, and we needed to go left. But we're not going. He's on an e-bike. We're not going down there to try to. We were like, did he go that way? I don't know. So, anyways, we had this big. We got lost. It ended up taking a couple hours, and we didn't know if he was down the edge, and we were like, what? We didn't know where he was.
Lost him forever.
Yeah. So do you guys, when you guys go to big areas and is there places that doesn't have cell signal? Do you guys use the radios once in a while?
Yeah, we went to Snowshoe in West Virginia, and for the World Cup this
wanted
a
to
few
go
months
this
ago.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my dad got some radios for us, and we all talked, and Brian got some radios as well. And me and my sister hung out a lot of the time, so we have our own radio, and whoever, like, just groups would have their own radio, and we'd all talk to each other, and that was really helpful compared to when we're at Snowshoe and we don't have radios, because we can't ever find each other. So if we lose somebody, then it's just the groups are gonna keep separating until the end of the day when you meet up at the hotel. So
We lost a rider once, so we kind of enforce let me track your iPhone for the week rule.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Because we were actually have you ridden Paint Creek in western North Carolina?
I don't think
It's
so.
right on the
No.
border. It's where the Appalachian Trail comes through. But there's a bunch of really cool scenic cross-country stuff there. It's like you won't run into other riders at all, which kind of sucks. We ran into a bear. That was neat.
Oh, wow.
But we had a guy, older gentleman with us. I'm going to be at the top no matter what. It was our second time up. Like, it's a super long climb, you go down. Super long climb, you go down. After the first one, half the group probably should have been done.
Yeah.
But we got to try the cooler, more enduro one. So ride up, and I'm pushing him up in my granny gear. And he's like, just go ahead. I'll be at the top no matter what. So we're at the top, weather's coming in, it's getting dark. Now we got to make this plan. Like, where's John? What are we going to do? So like we make the choice, like I'm going to go down as fast as I possibly can because I can climb the hill the fastest and get down it. So it's like, I'm going to go down as fast as I can. If he's not there, I'm coming back up. And then I'm going to have to ride back down the road to see where he is. Luckily, he was down at the car. He's like, I just wasn't feeling good. So since that moment, iPhone tracking just on trips. I don't care about your privacy stuff at home.
Yep.
But losing people, we lost someone in Bentonville, or actually at Two Rivers in Missouri, in Springfield, Missouri. Same thing, just a guy that likes to take pictures, just went and took pictures.
Yeah.
But didn't tell anyone.
Didn't tell anyone.
Yep.
He's the slowest rider, so you're waiting at the junction, you're waiting.
Yep.
What do? I'm going to ride back down the trail. Oh, he's not there.
Yeah.
So now where is he? Oh, he saw a sign for a waterfall, and he went and checked it out without telling anybody.
See?
Tommy.
I like how you throw the names out there. Mike.
We call those people spur. And off they go. Right? Hiking or biking.
Yeah.
I think
Like-
for us too, enforcing like in riding order, like have the person in front knows where he's going, and a person in the back that's a good rider.
Sure.
Having the people that maybe don't know where they're going are not the best rider in the middle, so there's always someone kind of in the back as a sweeper almost.
Yeah.
Courtney's such a good rider, and she's got the e-bike now that.
Yeah, and
Or Keith, his dad is phenomenal at keeping. He's like a herding dog in another life. He's
Sure.
so good at keeping everyone on task.
That's important. That's important.
you're not always racing down the hill, faster than down. I mean, you're mostly we're just have fun. You're a bunch of group of guys have fun, and
Yep.
it's okay to be in the back right now and just kind of jibbing off little stuff, some little sidelines and that, but just kind of keep an eye on people in front of you and make sure they're okay and know where they're going. And
I think
having that ride to order is a big thing.
I think that's a big tip. Like, like say there'll be people watching this that haven't been out of state or, want to do some of this, where's these best trails and such, think of that stuff. Because, I mean, when you're in Pisgah, no phone signal, it was getting cold. We were dressed not for cold. It was getting cold, and I'm thinking, even if I found him, he's a bigger guy. What am I going to do? I
Right,
have no
true.
phone signal, and so you start thinking of things like that, and you change up a little things what you do, radios or an order, or I would say, and then Joe on our team, he's kind of really good at like survival stuff and whatever, and he just comes up with he came up with a bunch of ideas. So I guess that's good advice. Like, take that in consideration. Just go have a blast, but it's not looting. It's a little different than looting when you get out there with no phone signal.
Yeah.
We have friends that get lost there.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
That's funny.
So I guess I'm probably the least traveled of all this group, so I'll kind of make mine fast. We've been to Bentonville a couple times, love it, great. I think their trails just keep going. There's unlimited money there, so the trails, each time you go down there, there's an extra 20 miles, that you've never seen.
Right.
And I've still only probably done 5% of what's down there. And the more I see, the more I love. We went down Fossil Flats. That was one of probably say my favorites down there, just because it was rocky and not really technical for you guys, but it was, I think it's another thing. Michigan people see rock and they freak out, and it's just hard dirt, and once you realize it's just hard dirt, it makes a lot of fun, you just see my wife, tackle things that were no big deal. So Bentonville is up there. Brevard, we're going again this March. It's going to be open to people who want to meet us down there. We're going to go second or third week in March, but hopefully some of you guys can make it. But we're going to go down there. We've hit Pisgah, we've hit Dupont, we haven't hit Kanuga yet, and Burn Peak.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I want to try those two as well. It's 4 days. We'll see what we can fit in. But that's going to be kind of fun. And then I think my favorite trail of all times is still the one when I rented the full suspension for the first time, Monarch Crest in Colorado, where we shuttled up to 10,000 feet or whatever, and then you had to bike up to 12,000 feet, and then you went down forever. It felt like forever. And that was the first time on the right bike where I started saying, I jokingly said, "It's not the rider, it's the bike. This is and I could just let the brakes out and the bike was just handling everything. I'm like, this is sweet, and you're above the tree line. I still remember, being above the tree line, and don't be fooled that you take a shuttle. I'm like, oh, take a shuttle, it's going to be easy. Well, you still had a long ass climb to get to where you needed to go, but I'd say it's my favorite trail, but I'm still well under traveled compared to you guys. But and then Copper Harbor needs a mention, I would say. I would say it's I love it up there. The reason I'm kind of fond there is just because that was one of my first mountain bike trips, back way early in the day on a hardtail, non-dropper. Went over the handlebars, so I got some fond memories up there. And now we've started getting these DTEs, and now the Dragon, and we start getting, I love Potawatomi. I kind of like the natural Michigan chunk, like I'll say, like Potawatomi, State Game, Yankee, those style stuff. I like the natural trails, old schools. So that's why I think out west, you start getting out west in different places. I think I like Brevard more than Bentonville because of that. I think Brevard is more machine built, you kind of, real fine gravel, because that's how they chop everything up and whatever. Not discounting it because I love it, but if I'm picking the two, I think I like Brevard a little bit better. But it's my 2 cents.
I'd like to add that Copper Harbor, as far as the vibe, is one of my favorite places. It's just so remote, and it's
No phone service.
no. There's
There you go. There's another
phone
one.
service.
Have it, but
Top of the shuttle.
but everything else in town, you might as well not even try.
We always go for their Trails Fest up there. It's just the whole town turns into a big mountain biking town. They have like a festival, and it's sponsored by Bell's Beer. They have like a tent and stuff like music stage and all that. And just it's one of those places that you get a bunch of guys and you can shuttle on trucks, and the cops there really don't care if everyone sits in the bed of a truck and just shuttles up. I mean, we've had times where we're just trying to run as many laps as we can, just having fun we have like 8 people in the bed of a truck trying to see a tubeless tire, or I have the pump on my chest here, and the guy across me is going like this, trying to pump the tire, just ripping up the hill, you know,
Wow.
and passing a cop. Oh, okay, good.
Cop, like I've seen
You
that
know,
before.
like yeah, that's the cops. There's okay, you know, it's just kind of that vibe. They know that's what's happening. It's just that vibe there, and
Yeah.
real small town. You know, at the end of the day, we go take a shower by jumping in the Devil's Bathtub, what's called. And you rocky jump off in Lake Superior, and
Yep.
that's how you take a shower and just camping out with your friends. It's just one of those fun places. You know, it has a great vibe.
I think if you're mentioning that, we got to mention Marquette and Ishpeming. I think we can't talk about Michigan mountain biking without adding those in there too. You know, they've got the Ore to Shore race, which really isn't trails up there, which I learned. You know, it's different. It's different. So if you go up there and do Ore to Shore and say, I'm going to go take my hardtail and do these other trails, don't. You know, get a different bike. But that's amazing too. You know, Marquette a little closer. It's worth going all the way to Copper, but
Copper's good, especially if you're going for the Trails Fest. You know, they have all the races and that, and just spectating, even if you're not there for riding. I mean,
Oh yeah.
if like the big race they do in Whistler, Heckler Berm or Heckler Rock, if anyone's heard of that, they do pretty much the same thing there. They have a Heckler Berm.
Oh, nice.
And everyone gets in their shortest shorts, and we have my frames banging on chainsaws. I mean, if you're racing, you're seeing a lot of butts, stuff like that. You know,
Downhill is heckling.
it gets rowdy up in that berm. If you want more family friendly, stay towards the bottom. If you want to see some pictures, like you asked pictures, I can send you a couple of pictures of some short shorts of mine. But you know, it just gets rowdy if you want to go up there have fun. If you want more family friendly towards the bottom, it's just one of those things. And I've raced it before, and downhill race, you get 2 runs. First run I put down, and I was like, yeah, that sounds good. You know, best I could do. I wasn't winning, but next run, we were there for a bunch of friends. Like, hey, I'd give you $5, you do this. And someone said, hey, I'll give you $5, you doing your chamois. So I set it down that course in my chamois. And if you've been to Copper Harbor, the end of the course is the
downtown.
Downtown, the big rock drop. Just you go over that edge. Yeah. What's the rock drop towards the bottom?
Man pants.
You go over that, and then the crowd's there, just everyone. You're suddenly seeing a guy just in their chamois just sending a rock drop. I hit it good. Like I set a gap, and all of a sudden, watching the crowd just go, oh! It's just that vibe, you know. You know, it's just fun. You know, I'm not there to win, just there to have a good time. See that vibe of everyone.
That sounds fun.
And that's like the big part of a lot of the races is just like you don't always have to be racing. You can just stand on the sidelines and watch.
Yep, I've had plenty of times where didn't race, just went to go support and had a blast. That is cool.
Yeah.
We kind of sucked up a lot of the good stuff. What do you got for? He's gonna come up with 3 we never heard of.
That's right.
Bend, Oregon.
It's
It's been a while since we've been out there, but I'm trying to remember the trail that we shuttled up when we used Betty's car and ours.
Yeah, I don't have that one.
It's been a while, but Bend was great for the fact is the ride was great. It's a different kind of ride. It's not your typical. It's not your typical like West, like Arizona, Albuquerque, or New Mexico. And it's not quite the Pacific Northwest. It's kind of like
green and mossy though.
It's in between. It's like a desert kind of desert, but
It's
not.
like this moon dust.
It's a
like
different
volcanic
kind of,
moon dust everywhere.
and it's not loose over hard. It's just a different kind of dust, but there's a lot of like flow. I thought, and there was a lot of chunk.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a rough trip. I did some hard knocks, learning rocks and chunk.
And downtown had a really cool vibe, even though it was ungodly expensive. There, it was still fun to like go downtown and walk around.
Well, that's Deschutes Brewing, right?
Well, they had
that's
probably,
the home of.
They probably had 10 breweries downtown that were out walking distance you could go to.
Yeah.
Restaurants were all good.
Yeah.
A lot of like uniqueness in restaurants. It wasn't just like your hamburgers, hot dogs.
Oh
Kind of thing. If you wanted something really nice, you could. If you wanted Italian, you could get Italian.
Yeah, I forgot about Bend. It's just been a long time since we've been out there.
Yeah. So
Phil's Trail was the one that we loved.
Phil's.
The downhill.
It was Phil's.
That was a long climb, and then just that's what you love about the West in general is you go up these
fire road.
giant climbs, but then you have like 3-4 5 mile descents, and you don't get that.
Right.
You don't get that on the East Coast, and you don't get that in Bentonville,
Right.
and that's something that's very unique, right? To more
Yeah.
a mountain destination.
Yeah.
I will say with like those downhill descents, you think, oh, it's easy, it's downhill. Like I can ride an hour cross country loop, but I have to take breaks going downhill. Like,
It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
It is
Yeah.
more work than
Yeah,
you think it is.
standing, just standing
Sure.
in that position.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, people aren't used to being out of their seat and on the pedals most of the time, and
Yeah.
you get like, oh, my legs are hurting. I'm like, well,
Yep.
stand up more.
Well, that would be that was me. I'm like, my legs hurt.
Yeah.
Get back in the gym.
Back foot.
Yes. Train so you can
I
vacation.
know. I'm
Train
working
so you
on
can
it.
vacation.
Getting better at that.
Yeah, we were in Mulberry Gap last spring. That's in Georgia,
Yeah, I like that.
northern Georgia,
Yeah.
and
Yep.
it was it's a mountain bike
Destination resort.
it's a resort almost,
Mm-hmm.
and it's rideable. You have cabins, tents, all the food's cooked very well. Like so, breakfast and dinner served. They pack you a lunch.
Yeah.
You have hot tubs, local hot tubs, like 4 or 5. You can go and sit in. Bike shop on the resort. So if something happens to your bike, go there. You're like 10 minutes from town, from LJ.
Yeah. There's a little town called LJ.
And
It's about 10 minutes.
the bikes. I mean, the trails are great. It's chunky. It's there's some elevation, and you can take shuttles if you want, or you can bike up fire roads. It's your choice.
Yeah, Appalachian, Blue Ridge Mountains, just on the other side,
Views
really,
are-
of right, Pisgah and Brevard is on one side of the range, and then like Chattanooga and LJ, Mulberry Gap are on the other side.
Is it the far west side of northern Georgia, or is it more towards the east?
West. It's really not that far from Chattanooga.
Okay, so
So you
it's by
come-
Jared's place then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
it
you
is
come
that
down
far.
through Chattanooga, and then it's maybe about it's not quite an hour
From
from Chattanooga. Yep.
I'm surprised you haven't been there because that's like one.
Yeah, this is one I have not.
And
That's shocking because they advertise really good advertising.
they do.
They do. It's definitely
It's-
like a mountain, like it's basically summer camp for adult mountain
It
bikers.
is. And what's best, I mean,
It's
the
great.
food's good is you get to actually you can choose what you want like every day. If you're picky about certain kind of foods, they have a chef
They have a
there
chef.
that'll give you your separate meal if it's something like
If you're vegetarian or if
gluten
you,
free,
yep.
dairy free, they'll help you out and give you what you need and good to go. So, and it was very welcoming. Like the shuttles were great. Shuttles went up twice a day. So go up, come down, and you wanna go up again, you can. And town was close to the bike shop. I'm trying to think of the bike shop's name.
Carticay.
Carticay had a pump track and skills park behind their shop. And this year they were going to put in a brewery in the shop, so it was going to be beer shop, all the skills park in the back. If you want to rent a bike, you can rent a bike there and ride the skills park area.
It's the Carticay River is what that is. It comes through there, and the bike shop is right along the riverbank, and it's really cool setting for the pump track and skills area.
This is gonna make your dad's
Cool
spreadsheet.
vibe.
I know.
It's gonna get moved up on his Excel sheet.
Yeah.
I feel like. He's gonna listen to this, I assume.
Yeah,
I've got a blog about it. You can share the blog.
I'll have to
with
look
your
at it, for
dad.
sure.
There you go. We'll exchange.
yeah, my dad will write it in a spreadsheet, like I said.
Okay, you got it.
What's kind of cool too, you just reminded me, like when we did something down in Georgia, and we'll hit Stump Park or some mountain bike place, and then what we're doing a lot of times with the group we're going with is we're whitewater rafting.
Oh yeah.
So there's some really good whitewater rafting all in those areas. So if you haven't done that, I just started doing that like 5 or 6 years ago. Now I want to do it once a year.
So
But
fun.
it's a lot of it is around a lot of these mountain bike destinations. Even when we went out to Yellowstone and all those different things, and I hit Jackson Hole Bike Park. We were whitewater rafting out there.
Yep.
So it's a good break it up if you're there for any given time. If you're only there for 3 days, do the trails. But if you're there for 5 days and you want to break up a day, whitewater rafting is the best.
Yeah.
They had that stuff at Boone too, right? You went there. We kind of scouted it Memorial Day. Then you went back with your family to find family friendly stuff.
Yeah, they did. They had a bunch of whitewater rafting stuff like that too. That's Sugar Mountain and Beach. Yep.
Is that in North Carolina?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
That area. But they got whitewater rafting stuff like that too.
Yep.
Have any of you guys been to Giants Ridge in Minnesota?
I've not been out there.
Our friends built it.
You're
I've
close.
seen pictures.
I've heard a lot about it, and it sounds like it's going to be it is a great place, but it's not just mountain biking. It has like family friendly stuff. So I thought about like
There's a golf resort
there's
there
the golf
too.
resort there, there's
Bike
the
park.
hotel, and
Yeah.
so there's more than just mountain biking there for the kids or the parents who have kids and
Sure.
Yeah, I
have
was
to do the family stuff along with the mountain biking.
I was at Beach and Summer Beach and Sugar this summer, and my family decided to pick a vacation. They happened to pick, hey, let's go to Beach Mountain because it looks like a bunch of family stuff.
Yeah.
Lucky for me, that's they had no idea any of this stuff was there, but there's a bunch of family stuff usually around bike parks. There's
Yeah.
bunch of stuff. I mean, Whistler runs a big whitewater rafting stuff there too, and it's
Sure.
Olympic Villages there. There's a bunch of shopping stuff like that. There's tons of stuff.
Best of both worlds. Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of these areas we're talking about, now we're talking about that, the hikes. There's, we usually do 4 hours of biking and then we go hiking, 4 hours and hit some waterfalls and, so that's what's cool about what we do, right? There's just, it's in the areas that we do them in, and they just happen to have really good breweries in town too.
Yeah. And like in
He says yes.
in Bentonville, my dad just recently broke his wrist. So with Kellen,
Not on the bike. It was a motorcycle,
Yeah,
not
okay.
a pedal bike.
okay, all right, yeah. But in Arkansas, like he wasn't able to ride, so he did a ton of other stuff with my sister, and that was a lot of it was just cool because I didn't know that all that stuff was around. So,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, guys, I think we've covered a bunch. If there's anything in close you guys can think of, otherwise, those watching, if you've watched this long, you are a diehard, so thank you. And if you're anything like me 6 years ago, you wanted to hear all of this so you can start making the bucket list. And by the way, the bucket list is never going to stop. There's no way you can hit all these. And even if you're BKXC and do this for a living, he's still not hitting everything he wants to hit. He's just traveling around and but we at least hopefully got you guys some thoughts to think of. If you're avid and you have some favorites, put them in the comments below so we can check them out. We'll try putting as many links down below. Maybe we'll do a follow-up video of this, in the fall or something. And of course, when we go to Brevard and these different places, we're going to be filming so you can kind of watch and hopefully there's no bloopers or anything like that to see.
Right.
But thanks everybody for showing up and sharing your knowledge. This is super helpful. Knowledge is power with everybody that in mountain bike world where we want to just kind of learn about stuff. So appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Good hanging out, guys.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, good stuff.
Nice talking.
Yeah. That's it. That's a wrap. Good job. I was looking over at the time. 1:25. I don't know if we